All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm Titus, your host today on the MVM show, and got another guest. I told you guys we'd be belting the episodes out, getting 2 out a week, and having all kinds of guests on. And I'm excited to have Clay Turpin on today. He's on the line with me right now, and he reached out to me, and man, I was looking at his stuff, and I was like, man, this is cool. This guy is kind of doing all the stuff that I'm trying to do, and anyways, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today, Clay.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk. Let's just start. I don't want to jump and get the cart ahead of the horse, but let's start at just growing up and kind of where you grew up and how you learned about kind of the stuff you were telling me about your dad, how just everything he's kind of raised you and your guys' aviary, and just roll into now.
Yeah, so I was probably 4 years old. Ever since I can remember, my dad, he was a real big duck hunter. He started me out hunting Lake Michigan. We did a lot of diver hunting, but we also have a lot of marsh and stuff. So like as far as back as I can remember, it was just duck hunting with my dad, and he he grew up doing it just like I did, and I was really lucky to grow up in a house like that. Just showing me, the proper way to do things, how to hunt, proper hunting etiquette, just all kinds of awesome things I was lucky to have. But yeah, so that's pretty much like doing it since I was young with my dad. And, like you said, you mentioned the aviary. That's another thing. As far back as I can remember, we had ducks. I mean, we've had just about every species you could think of. As far as like tree ducks, we got divers, all kinds of ducks. Just growing them was kind of just a fun thing to do. And yeah, pretty cool.
You guys live on some property, a decent amount of property, I'm assuming, or?
Yeah, we have 5 acres.
Okay.
And then I say we have a pond and a couple different pens that we keep them in usually.
Yeah, I seen. So Thomas got some property. He's kind of out in the country now and out of the city, and he's got a few acres or whatever. And we were talking about it. I was telling him that we worked out this morning before he went to work. I was getting off work because I'm on night shifts right now, and he's getting ready to go to work anyways. I ran over there. We did a quick workout or whatever, and I was talking to him about having you on this podcast and everything, and having the aviary. And he's like, dude, we should do that out here. I'm like, let's do it. So maybe we'll start. Kind of got us all excited to maybe start doing something like that. But I'm imagining having that really helps you just get to watch the reaction and how they act and what weather does to them, huh?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Like, it definitely has changed a lot for me. Just even you can go out there and study the birds, just watch how they react. Like, you can hear what they really sound like in person. Because a lot of times when you're out in the field, you don't really get to hear some of those sounds. Like I know, very, very seldom do we hear like a green-winged teal whistle when we're out hunting. But like back home, when we're sitting out there, we'll hear them all the time, and it's just awesome. Like I try and tell other people that, like especially when they're newer and they're not really sure, I tell them, come over to our house, just sit here with me and listen to the birds. Like it's awesome to see, and you can see how they watching them like dive in the ponds and just how they act. It's pretty helpful in my opinion.
Oh, I bet. So what kind of, I mean, not that you got to name every single bird that you have out there, but what, I looked on your Instagram page, by the way, everybody, if you want to check his page out, it's pretty cool. Turpin, Turpin, Clay 22 on Instagram. And I guess I don't know if you want to say something about Facebook too. People want to, you probably do more on Instagram, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I post on Facebook a lot also. It's just Clay Turpins. Open to any friends.
Yeah. Well, that what I seen that you kind of didn't you have some hybrids out there, or did you just have some I know you had a bake-heel teal, which I'm not saying that's a hybrid. I'm just saying, didn't you have a bake-heel teal out there and some other stuff?
We got all kinds of birds. We have, like you said, baked teals. We have mandarins. We even have white mandarins, Bahama pintails, just some like tufted ducks and, weird species that you don't see in the Americas. But we also have a lot of stuff like canvasbacks, bluebills, gadwall, pintails, just all kinds of birds, whatever we can get our hands on.
Yeah, well, let me ask you that. Like, if someone was wanting to have that, maybe something small, not quite. It sounds like you guys. How many birds do you think you have?
We're somewhere in the upper 50s right now.
Oh, wow.
We lost quite a few to some hawks. We had a hawk problem this last year, so we lost quite a few. But I mean, we have ducks and geese. We got like specks and barnacle geese and cacklers. Whatever. Like I said, whatever we can get our hands on.
Yeah. Well, if someone was wanting to start something like that, hint, hint, maybe, possibly us. Well, how would you suggest doing that? I mean, you definitely need a pin, I guess, right? Like, kind of make a homemade pin. Like, what would you do to get started if you're someone's cold turkey getting into it?
So yeah, the first thing I would do, like you mentioned, is build a pen. I would definitely make sure, depending on your area, you have some sort of top to the pen because we've had a real problem, like I said, with the hawks. So you want to have a top that you make that can stop them from, the hawks. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, just need to make sure you have water, and we feed them chicken food. And another thing that we make sure is around the bottom, you want to have like a real small fencing, because like we had a problem with raccoons just getting at the ducks through the fence. So you just gotta be careful for that stuff. But you can. So like what we do is there's like bird sales pretty close to our area we usually go to, but there's also some groups on Facebook that there's a lot of people that will post like birds that they have hatching or what they have for sale, that type of thing. So you can send them through the mail.
So since it's a federal birds, that's totally legal to sell them live like that, or like how's that all work? Is there anything weird there with paperwork or anything?
It usually varies from state to state, but I know like for us, you have to have like a license to sell them. You usually don't have to have a license to buy them, but like I said, it varies from state to state, and I'm not really sure about much other states other than Indiana.
Have you ever heard of that guy on Facebook, Ben Pierce?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me and my dad, we talk to Ben all the time.
Yeah, everybody listening, you should check that guy out. He does some really cool. He has a lot of hybrids and crossbreeds and stuff like that. But I think, do you guys have you ever bought any birds from him? Because he sells birds too, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know he sells. So I've seen a lot that he's been selling like some of his deceased birds for taxidermy purposes. We've never actually bought live birds from him, but yeah, he definitely has a lot going on over there, especially with the hybrids, being a bird biologist and all that. So
yeah, that's really neat what he's got going on there too. But all right, yeah, I was just kind of curious about that. I know that's not was the main topic that we were going to talk about, but I thought it's kind of intriguing. Travis, I guess you probably know who Travis is, right?
Yeah,
he's a really good taxidermist in my opinion, and he's had pheasants. I think he may have had one or two ducks, but anyways, he lives in town a little bit, so I can't remember if he's had a mallard or not, but I know he's had pheasants for sure. He had some for a long time, just to have them or whatever. But anyways, I'm really serious. I think Thomas is too about doing that, so I just kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit, and
Yeah, if you ever have any questions, you can always just ask away. We'll try and help however we can. I can even send you some of those Facebook groups just at least to get you started.
Yeah, to maybe buy or whatever, like you said. Do you buy them just as ducklings, or do you get them when they're older?
So we usually buy them after they're a little older, just because like sometimes you have the problem when people send them when they're young.
They die.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or some people do the eggs. They'll like sell eggs too, and we, like I said, that's not guaranteed. So
right.
No, that makes sense. Get them in.
So how are they shipped? Are they?
You usually do overnight. You have to do overnight shipping, and it's just a special box. It's really expensive for the overnight shipping, but I mean, it's kind of what you're limited to, unless, like I said, unless you have those live animal sales somewhat close to you. I think we drive 4 hours up to Wisconsin for ours. So,
and what made your dad kind of get into that? Was it just kind of he loves duck hunting and he loves waterfowl, so just kind of a fun thing to do, or did he have just a hobby?
I would say just kind of a hobby. I mean, when he grew up, him and his mom used to raise a lot of quail, so they did a whole bunch of quail, and then he just like he says, just as fascinated as I am with the whole ducks and duck hunting and anything duck related.
Yeah.
So he just kind of started out like that, and it's just how it's always been.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking the other day, I said I totally get that because it doesn't never shut off for me. I'm thinking about waterfowl honestly all year round. So there's a few weird ones of us out there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody's like that. But anyways, well, let's get into next. Let's talk about like your taxidermy, your head mounts. You had mentioned that what's that big page on Instagram?
Outdoor TV, I think.
No, the one that shared your video. I mean, Outdoor did too.
Split Read?
Yeah, Split Read. Yeah, so they shared your video. I actually had never seen it on there. I don't think I'm following them or nothing, but you sent that deal to me, and I thought that is it because see, I've only mounted probably 14, 15 birds, I think. A couple for friends for free, right? Because I'm learning, but the good thing is I had Travis as an instructor, so I mean that really increased my skill level pretty quick just because he helped me a lot instead of going cold turkey like he did. Because I mean, he had for a long time there, he had no one showing him until he went to this guy you named Eugene in Montana. But anyways, have you done full mounts, or did you just always do the head mount thing, or what do you call it? You call it like a shoulder mount? Because I mean, it reminds me of like a deer where it stops at the shoulders almost.
I said everyone has a little different name. At least on the videos I had, there's some comments call them shoulder mounts, head mounts, bust mounts. I always just call them head mounts just because that's the main thing. Like I said, I think the best part of the duck is the head. So
right.
I mean, it's just most colors. I don't know. It's my favorite part. So it's a nice way to show them off. But I've done a couple full body mounts. I'm not the most patient person, so it gets a little tough. But my dad he had told me because I was bringing home these birds and they would their head was just great, and then the rest of their body would be shot up. I'm like, man, it just sucks to waste such a nice bird. So he told me, he's like, yeah, back in like the 80s, I used to do these mounts where you just do the head and it's really simple, pretty quick. And then he showed me how to do it. And like I said, my first couple weren't that great, but the more you do it, the better you get. So yeah, it definitely helps having someone just show me what to do. Like you mentioned, cold turkey's hard.
Right. Oh yeah, especially like you said for waterfowl. I mean, I guess probably any type of taxidermy, just cold turkey, that'd be a long learning process, I feel like. But I'm kind of curious. So like, being that I have done it, I guess why Travis always makes fun of me and gives me a hard time because he's like, why are you not over here? You can do it. You do a decent job. And I'm like, dude, there's just levels. There's certain things I don't like doing. I mean, I don't care to flesh them out. I don't mind skinning them out. Fleshing it is kind of a pain, and I always get a little lazy. I'm like, that's good enough. Travis like, no, you got more fat on there. You got to get off. But then also like the sewing up part, like to make that look really good and clean on the breast, it can be kind of tough, and I always struggle on that. But I'm just curious let's call it a bust mount, because I mean I've seen the swans, how they do that too, and that's what they call it. But where's your cutting? Can you walk me through how you do that, like just from start to finish?
Yeah, so I usually start like right where their wings start on their body, and I just cut down along the breast and then up on the top. I just kind of follow that, and then just start skinning from there. You go up to the neck. I use the actual skulls, so I basically skin it up to the base of the head of the skull and cut them off there. And then after that, you just kind of start, like you said, fleshing and skinning, getting it clean. And so I mean, once that's done, then you kind of have to cut like underneath the bill. You kind of make a small incision enough to fold the skull kind of like outside of that. And then you kind of, it's kind of hard to explain over
right.
the
no,
phone,
it's okay. I understand. I do. It is kind of visually if you're not looking at it. So you're making an incision under the bottom bill.
Yeah.
And it just
right where the bill like meets the head, and you kind of go down the neck just a little bit to where you can kind of fold the head out inside out. So you got to clean out, like the meat inside of there and the eyes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So you basically just clean that up real good, and then after that I usually take it into the sink and wash it with Dawn, get all the
Yep.
grease off and all that. Then from there you just put I use clay to fill the head in, where you took out the brains and
Mm-hmm.
whatever else. Fill that stuff in, put the eyes in, sew up that incision on the neck, and then use wire for the neck, and then then I stuff the breast with the I use pillow stuffing.
Okay.
And so you stuff the breast with that, then just sew it up into kind of like a ball, and then mount it on the driftwood. It's pretty simple. It goes pretty quick. Like I said, cleaning, like you said, fleshing is just pain in the butt. So,
right.
I mean,
well, when you said sewing, then you just lost me. I was like, well, I guess I won't be doing bust mounts.
no, it's not really that difficult because, like you said, you do under the neck, and that one could be a pain. But like when you do down by the breast, it's like you basically just got to figure out a way to bring all the pieces of that skin together.
Yeah.
Just so it doesn't fall out.
How long do you think it takes you to do one?
At this point, about 2 hours.
Okay. That's a lot quicker than a full one. That's for sure.
Yeah, no.
And you don't gotta touch up the bill because since it's the natural one, it don't fade out over time.
Oh no, it does. So usually after I sew it up, put it on the driftwood, and get the feathers going, I let it sit for about 2 weeks, and then, like I said, since it's the actual bill, the blood will drain out of it and it'll lose its color. So then you have to paint it.
Yeah, I'm gonna share that video on my Instagram story, and I guess I'll tag you in it or whatever. But I'm gonna show you guys that follow on Instagram. I'll do it on Facebook too, but it's pretty interesting. I like it. Maybe I wouldn't want every bird of all the 41 like that, but it would be nice to me. Like I was telling Thomas, my mind just went blank. What's the mergansers, maybe have a row of a hooded merganser, have them lined up like you do on that driftwood upright. I think that's really cool. Because
it's cool.
Because if you're trying to save space, you know what I mean? It's I don't know how many birds I got in here because I have one of each. I probably have 30 of the 41, maybe something like that.
Wow.
And maybe 25, 26, but yeah, it's getting a little claustrophobic in here. But
yeah, it'll run out of room real quick.
Yeah.
With all those birds.
Yeah, but hey, it's I love staring at them. I can think every time I look at them, I'm thinking back of that memory or whatever that goes with that bird specifically. So
yeah, definitely.
Well, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that because that might be something I'd like to have at least one piece of driftwood with 3 or 4 birds on it. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. If you have any questions, like I said, if you ever have any questions, I'm more than willing to help. I can even send videos of how I do it if that helps out.
That'd be cool. That'd be almost cool to make a YouTube video of that or something. But so let's get into, I think, kind of more of the meat and potatoes of why you probably came on here and why I was interested in your story is just the traveling you did last year. Not saying that was all you've done was last year, but I mean, you hit it pretty hot and heavy last year on traveling, huh?
Yeah. I started beginning of September, and I don't know, probably 5 or 6 trips all the way through mid-January. So it's kind of nonstop for a while.
Is that kind of the first season that you really hit it that hard traveling?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is, like I said the other day, this is really the first year since I graduated college I had the ability to travel as much as I did. Like I said, we usually do our yearly trip to North Dakota, but never really quite done anything like last year.
Yeah. So walk us through the year. Take your time. You don't have to rush through it because I'd like to kind of hear the details of all your trips.
Okay, so I'm pretty lucky. I have a buddy down in Texas. He lives right by the Gulf of Mexico. So I was talking to him throughout the summer, and he said, "Oh, why don't you come down for teal season opener?" So me and a couple of my buddies, we drove down there as beginning of September for their opening weekend of teal. Um, that if you never had hunted Texas teal, that's something I would really recommend. I
Really?
know you guys have a lot up in California, but it's just I don't know. Compared to Indiana, it's just crazy.
And is it because they're down there that thick during teal season just because of the way the migration and teal are usually are like to stay a little bit in the warmer stuff, huh? I mean,
Yeah.
because I've there's a couple guys I've been talking to for the last 3 years, and I swear up and down that I'm gonna get down there to hunt waterfowl one of these days. I haven't set a specific like, okay, I'm gonna go for teal or for this or that. I just want to go, right?
Yeah.
I'm knocking off the bucket list, but it's pretty hot and heavy with teal down there, huh? And when is it start? Like late September or early September?
It's usually the second weekend in September.
Okay.
Um, I've been down to Texas a few times for regular season and teal season.
Mm-hmm.
But like last year, my friends had always said, "Oh, Texas teal is crazy. They're everywhere. It's usually a bunch of fresh new birds, never been shot at." Um, and everyone kind of has the stigma that teal are dumb.
Right.
So, just like you said, it's something I just really wanted to experience. So, just decided to make the trip down, and it was definitely worth it. We had a whole bunch of fun.
How's the pressure as far as other hunters?
Um, it could get pretty bad. It kind of depends where you're at. Like, my buddy, he knows a couple of people that are on some like leases and ranches, and it's not so bad. But we hunt a lot of public down there,
Mm-hmm.
so like I know opening day there was probably like 50 trucks waiting to line up to
Mm.
get to the public spot. But pretty much after opening day, it wasn't so bad. Like I said, it just kind of depends.
Mm. Now, are you guys going out in a boat or are you walking in?
So the places that we go, there's like a gate, and it's like an automated gate. So at 4 o'clock it'll open, and everyone has to run. So you run down to like a levee, and it's like a couple miles long of this levee, and there's water on both sides. You kind of walk out to where you want to hunt,
Hmm.
that kind of thing.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah,
It does sound like something I would want to do at some point. So,
yeah, it's awesome because like you're in a foot race. Like I don't know if there's videos online that are pretty similar. Once the gate opens, you drive down to the drop off spot, and then you drop your buddy off, and he runs to try and get whatever spot you guys want to hunt at. And there's a bunch of other people doing the same thing. So
that sounds like California refuges right there.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Huh. So you could end up being right on top of people. Or they'll come in on top of you almost.
Yeah, you got to be strategic about it. There's some ways to circumvent that,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah. Oh yeah. You don't have to say. It's okay. We have our secrets too. Those are things that sometimes you don't always talk about
yeah.
publicly. But so Texas teal. What's the limit? Is it 5 or 6 down there?
Oh man, I should know this. I think it's 6.
Okay,
It's either 5 or 6.
Yeah.
It's. I've done a lot of hunting since I was down there, so
Yeah, right. So it's
remember.
it's mainly blue wings, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
mainly.
Okay. So from Texas teal in September, where'd you go next?
So we came home for about 2 weeks, and then we left and went right back. We went to North Dakota for the non-resident season opener.
Mm-hmm.
That's a trip my dad's been doing for 20 or so years, and
Mm-hmm.
then once I was old enough, then I started going with him and my brother and some of his friends. So we just go up there and freelance, usually for around a week.
Mm-hmm.
And
So and by the way, I don't think I told anybody you're from Indiana, so you went
yeah,
Texas till the North Dakota opener, and you guys have a good time. Obviously you've been going that long. I'm sure you've built up some spots because I know how it is traveling out of state. It don't happen overnight, that's for sure. But
yeah, and it's the way things are going up there. It's getting harder and harder to find places to hunt. Like landowners are, you know, leasing it off and uh, just getting rid of, just the open land.
yeah, it's a
So
bummer. I better get up there before they completely shut that off altogether.
yeah, well, like so they have a thing up there where they will pay farmers to like give access to hunters. So like, there's always that, and then there's Ducks Unlimited refuges and waterfowl projects. So like, there's always going to be public land up there, but I mean, usually the best places are the the little potholes
Yeah.
far off the roads that you can't really see
Yep.
and
Just
hardly
got to do
get
your
to.
scouting, huh?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a great time. I mean, it's one of the few trips that I'm really able to take my dog with me, and he gets a lot of work in a short period of time. So it's just awesome to get to take him up there with us.
Yeah, I bet. So where do you go from there, from North Dakota?
So after North Dakota, I got home, and then we did. So I'm like right, pretty close to the Michigan border. So I have some friends that I went up there to do their opening day with for duck and goose.
Mm.
Um, it was just a 1 day thing, but after that, I went to Whittier, Alaska.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, so I think that was late November, or no, sorry, beginning of November. I went to Whittier, Alaska. I was just scrolling through Facebook, and one of the guides up there, his name's Randy Mosman. He said he had an opening, and I just was looking at it. He had like 2 or 3 days, and I was like, I kind of checked into it, and I just decided, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I've been
Mm-hmm.
wanting to go for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So I set up a kind of a last minute trip for that. Um,
Did you? I'm just curious. I know sometimes they offer discounts when it's last minute and they're trying to fill a spot. Did you get a little bit of a discount or no?
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. He
Mm.
definitely helped me out. I think it was probably like 2 weeks before the actual hunt dates is when I
Oh wow.
contacted him. So,
Mm. And that was for King Eider.
no, so this was Whittier, which is like an hour and a half south of Anchorage, and it's like an old military base
Mm-hmm.
city. And so where you hunt over there is Prince William Sound,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of barrels, golden eyes, and
Mm.
harlequins.
Oh yeah.
So
Sweet.
so I went over there with him. That was really cool. Like I said, Prince William Sound. That's some crazy hunting. There's mountains everywhere, and like where I stayed was Whittier, like I mentioned, and like it's um like an old military base, and it's right in between the mountains. So there's like a huge temperature gradient, which causes like crazy winds. So like one day I was there, it was 80-mile-an-hour winds, just absolutely crazy. Everything is covered in ice. Like it's some of the worst weather I've ever been in.
Really?
But yeah, so I went up there, and like I said, the one day was 80-mile-an-hour winds. It was my first day there. We ended up not being able to hunt out on the boat, so I actually went up there and freelanced from shore. Um, yeah, so you want to talk about crazy? Fly a couple thousand miles and go freelance in a place you
Yeah.
never been
In
by
Alaska.
yourself. By yourself.
Yeah, by yourself, 80-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, yeah. So he gave me a couple decoys and showed me like one or two places. Like, hey, you might want to try sitting here. So I went over there and shot a couple birds. It was pretty cool, but
Just the experience. I mean, like you
yeah,
said, who cares if you one or two birds? The fact that you freelanced in a way in Alaska in a brutal place, that's a great memory.
yeah, yeah. No, some people would call it crazy, but I definitely found out a lot about myself that day.
Really? Oh man, that's cool. I would have been with you. I would have totally did it. That's super
It's
cool. What'd you end up actually? What bird did you actually end up shooting?
so believe it or not, when I was by myself, I ended up shooting a Barrel's goldeneye and some common mergansers.
Oh,
But
nice. Is that
yeah,
your
like I said, it was cool.
is that your first barrels you've shot?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's a cool memory, dude. That's super
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So luckily, things got better though because the other days we were able to get out on the boat, and that's just an awesome experience. I mean, I have some YouTube videos that I post of it, but like there's just golden eyes everywhere. There were harlequins everywhere. Like it was so fun.
What's your channel? Is it Clay Turpin?
Yeah, I don't. I kind of I just started hiding my videos because like I mentioned, I had people following me
Oh,
at the boat ramp. They saw my videos of me shooting birds, and I'd
yeah.
catch them at the boat ramp, waiting for me to launch my boat, and then next thing I know, I'd see them behind me, following me to where I'm hunting.
Oh my goodness. Like
Yeah,
you're talking about locally at home or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No. Yeah,
Gets pretty
there's
cool.
tricks to that. You just can't show where you launch and stuff. Is kind of helps a little bit, but yeah.
Well, there's only two places to launch around, or three places to launch around here,
Oh,
so
gotcha. Okay.
pretty.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
pretty narrow.
Um,
But
so okay, let me ask you this: that trip, if you don't mind sharing, that trip's way cheaper than the King Iderdale, right?
yes, a whole lot cheaper.
Like a couple
Um,
thousand. I mean, the tickets are probably the worst part of it, huh?
so for me, it was $550 round trip to and from Anchorage.
Oh,
Um, it probably depends when you book, where you go.
yep.
Like some people have like you typically when you go to Anchorage, depending on which flight, you'll have like layovers in Seattle. I did like a direct flight through there, but like I said, it all just depends when you book and stuff like that. So, um, but so the guy that I went with, he was pretty cheap on his daily rates. The reason I went with him is because he does the daily rates, so it's a little cheaper.
Hmm.
But there's a couple other guides out there where they'll take you out and you live on the boat for 3 or 4 days. They're a little bit pricier, but yeah. I mean, this cheap trip, I think all in, I was around $1,500.
With the tickets and him.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's not that bad at all.
No, no,
I'd do
not
that in a
not for
heartbeat
Whitney.
to go to get a Harlequin and some barrels.
Yeah.
So Randy Mosman's the guy.
Yeah. So what I was just about to say, the only problem is he said, according to him, he said that was his last year guiding.
What?
Um, yeah, he
Oh,
said he wants to, hunt with some friends and family
uh,
more because what he does, he sets you up in like two groups, and he's basically just running back and forth between you guys all
yeah.
day, picking up birds because I mean, you can't wait out there anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just picking up birds between the two groups. Doesn't get to really do much hunting, but
That's a bummer.
there is. I know there's a couple guys out there. Like one of them is Crazy Ray's Adventure. He's very successful out there. You live on the boat for a couple days, like I said. I think his run around like lower 2000s,
Mm.
but
I don't know if
yeah.
I'd want to
No.
live on the boat though. That'd be sick the whole time.
Oh well, so, really, where they stay. It's like once you get out in Prince William Sound, the water is like usually really calm. It's just getting in and out of Whittier is a real pain. But after that, it's just like calm, flat water, no big deal.
Mm. I'm not really familiar with that. Is that bay water or is that lake or is that ocean or what is that?
I believe it's ocean water.
Okay.
It all feeds in from the ocean, and I mean Prince William Sound is huge, so
Mm. Yeah, I'm not
goes on.
familiar. Huh. No, that's something I actually was it 2 years ago. We were in Idaho, me, Travis Thomas, and a friend Caleb was mainly filming and stuff, but we were up there hunting and craziest day. It was actually Travis's birthday. I don't know if you see that video, but there wasn't a really lot of didn't really capture a lot of the shooting, just kind of the moments of the hunt. But anyways, we're hunting. We have probably I don't know because the limit's there 7 and it's all mallards, right? And pretty much for the most part where we were, and we hear this weird like sound between exactly what it was. Basically, you would hear some like mallard buzz, but then it was so foggy we'd hear it. You would hear like a mallard buzz, but it sounded almost like a gadwall, and we're like, "What in the world?" Of course, we didn't put two and two together. We'll end up landing on the water on Travis's side. We couldn't really see it, and Travis is like, "Hey, hey, hey!" He's trying to get this bird to jump so he could shoot it. Well, once he did, he goes, he goes, it's a, oh, now my mind goes blank. Oh my goodness. What's a gadwall mallard cross?
Brewer's duck,
Brewers. Oh my goodness, I can't think. He's
really?
it's the Brewers, and boom, 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 like 20 yards away. I mean, the first shot, obviously, once it lifted up, it was 20 yards, and then it was flying away. Missed all 3 shots. I've never seen Travis so just wrecked after that. Oh, he was one to
That's a
hit.
rough one.
Oh, he was literally. I think I seen tears in his eyes, which I don't even blame him. I would be too. And I was like, we were just kind of quiet. We're just like staring at him, and he just has his head down, looking like he's gonna cry. He's like, I can't believe he must have talked to himself for 15 minutes after that. Just you could just hear him mumbling to himself.
Yeah,
And
no, that's a real tough one.
oh, dude, yeah. And well, what's crazy is it's definitely not as crazy as a brewer's duck, but I know they're not really in the area that we were at all, not even close to it, but all of a sudden, another bird, and again, it was so foggy, so a lot of times birds would come in and drop in the decoys before we even could hear them or see them come from that way or whatever. But uh, golden hits the water, and he's like, "Oh, it's a golden." I go, "Dude, that's a." I think it was me or Tom said that's a barrels. No, it was me. I definitely know because I was about to shoot it. I've never shot a barrels,
Yeah.
and I believe it or not, I actually felt bad enough for Travis missing that Brewers. I'm like, you can go ahead and shoot. I said, but if you miss 3 times, I'm shooting. So he jumped it up and shot it, and we were all stoked because that's Travis has been hunting for years and years, 30, 40, almost. Actually, he's probably been hunting for 40 plus, but
Wow.
he's 50. I believe he's 50, so he's been hunting since a little kid. But he was stoked, and we were all super excited for him. It's a beautiful bird. I think he's actually mounted it or gonna mount it. But it was cool. I mean, it was his birthday, and he really had that bad deal with the barrel, the brewer's duck. But anyways,
Oh,
I
wow.
haven't shot one. I mean, it'd be cool to shoot in Idaho, but I think it would be really cool to shoot in Alaska.
Yeah. Because you probably aren't super far from Washington either, right? I know
Not
they
too
shoot a lot
bad.
there.
Yeah, you can get there in like 13 hours, 12 hours.
Yeah, that's not so bad. I know they shoot a lot up there on the coast.
I know. And see, when we go, we always go like Central or whatever.
Oh,
The beauty really is on the west side, and we want to get over
yeah.
there at some point and hunt some of those rivers with the pines and the trees and just the lush. It's so lush over there, man. It's just
Oh,
gorgeous
yeah.
hunting. I've watched so many videos of guys over there. I'm like, we actually, Thomas and I were gonna go last year and go like more like north western Washington, but
Mhm.
that plan got kind of canceled from something else. But have you been to Washington yet?
I have not. My dad actually went quite a few years ago with some buddies, and just I've seen some pictures. He was hunted the Columbia River
Mm-hmm.
or and the Penderal River
Mm-hmm.
over there. Actually, sorry, and just the pictures that he has, and it's just crazy. It's I would say it's kind of similar to stuff I saw in Alaska, but I mean, it's just I don't know. It's awesome.
That's saying a lot when you can say it looks similar to Alaska. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's kind of similar, but like I'm sure it's its own experience. Like,
right, right. But just the fact of how beautiful it is up there in that northwest area,
yeah,
Northwest
oh yeah,
Pacific. Yeah. So, that being said, yeah, I'll tell you, I remember what it was. Why we didn't go is because they closed Harlequin last year. Because we have a couple of
yeah,
people that have been wanting to come up there with us to come up there and get some our Harlequins, and so we were going to do that last year and found out they closed, and we were pretty bummed. I'm like, man, they might not ever open that again.
yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what drove me to want to go to Alaska, just because they're closing it down in Washington. How long is it really until they, decide to do something similar in Alaska?
I know. That is and see that, like I said, once the government starts closing stuff down, I always get really nervous that they'll ever, bring it back. I mean, I know there was some years that even pintail, you can even hunt pintails, and actually, we're getting close to that again. I mean,
Yeah,
by the
that's
numbers
what
of
I
last
heard.
year, yeah, it was like only 30,000 off before they said they would have closed it.
Wow, I know they did the same thing with canvasbacks here for a while too. You weren't allowed to shoot them.
Hmm. How's
But
the canvasback population doing now? Where you're at?
I mean, we're allowed to shoot them, but we don't see too many. I usually shoot a couple a year,
Mm.
but
Is it limit one or
you
two?
one.
One. Okay. Huh.
Um, well, no, I'm sorry, it's two.
Oh, it's two.
Sorry,
Okay.
there's a lot of changes lately that hard to keep track of. You're allowed two, but if you go like probably 5 hours like northeast of me, there's some really good canvasback hunting
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah.
Over like St. Clair River or St. Clair Lake St. Clair.
Oh, really?
Um,
Because that's a
right on.
really popular bass lake too, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of people go there. You can shoot a lot of canvasbacks on the Canada side. But a guide that I went to St. Paul with, he also guides over there, and he shoots quite a good number of canvasbacks too. So,
Hmm.
like I
Yeah.
said, never know.
I haven't shot a drake. I shot one hen. Well, I shot a really nice drake canvasback probably like 12, 13 years ago, which I don't really go to any places. I mean, we have them on the California coast and some other refuges around here that I could if I want to. I just never specifically did. But
Mm-hmm.
last year was a really good year. I actually shot several really nice birds, and actually Travis is gonna do like a we're gonna do a little bit of a different mount this time instead of a typical flying. It's gonna be basically like a swimming mount, basically like a ghost hanger with the feet,
Yeah, I've
you know.
seen those.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. Try that. He's never done one, so I'm usually the guinea pig because I don't mind if something happens. You know, it's not like I'm a client or something. But
Yeah, oh, that's awesome.
yeah, but
Um,
so
okay.
I'm gonna
I was gonna,
go ahead. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I was going to ask if you want to get back. I had a couple more trips to talk about. I know you
No,
when
I
I
do.
talked to
Yeah, yeah. I want to get
you.
back to that. So you from Alaska, the first trip. Where'd you go after that?
So then I got home, and me and my girlfriend, we actually drove down to Georgia. I don't know if you've ever seen what's his name, Mark Peterson.
Yeah. Uh huh.
He did the guys that he hunted with when he did his he did all the ducks in one
Yep.
year.
Mm-hmm.
So we hunted with the same guides that he did when he got his canvas back down there.
Oh, really?
Um, so we were on Lake Seminole, and
Okay.
we hunted there for like one day because they only had one day open. But then I met a couple guys on Facebook, and we drove a couple extra hours and hunted down in Florida with them.
Oh, wow.
Um, so yeah, it was a kind of a crazy trip, a lot of crazy weather. But so we got to hunt the canvasbacks just like in the video. You know, they build you a little blind out of bamboo. You kind of stand in the middle. Um, birds flying all around you. It's really cool, actually. And like I said, we went down to Florida, got to shoot some tree ducks and ringnecks, stuff like that. So
Hmm.
there's just a lot of different experiences, really, and that's kind of what I was after. So
Right. Boy, that's like the year of your life, and that's not even all, right? So,
no,
well,
so we can,
let's talk about the Florida trip for a minute, because I'd like to
yeah.
do that. So, like, where at in Florida? Are you central, northern, southern?
So we actually went to like the northwest part of Florida. It's kind of hard to explain. It was by like it's called Ocala.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like central-ish, like northern central
Mm-hmm.
Florida. Um, like I said, I met a couple of my buddies on Facebook, and they're like, "Yeah, just come on down. We'll take you hunting." And um, like I said, we shot a couple tree ducks. We're actually me and my dad are going back this year. We're going to try and get some fulvus, but
So
that's pretty
you
cool.
got the whistling tree duck, right? That's what you shot.
Black belly,
Oh, black
yeah,
belly. Okay.
yeah. So I got the black belly and the fulvus. We're going, like I said, we're going after this year,
Yeah.
so we're going to be heading back down there. But yeah, it was definitely cool.
And that was just with some friends you had on Facebook that you did that trip.
Yeah. Yeah, I posted on one of the Florida Facebook groups, and I had a guy reach out. We talked for I don't know a month or two, and just became friends. And I mentioned that we were going down there, and he said, "Yeah, why don't you guys come down and hunt with us?" So I said, me and my girlfriend got to go down there and shoot some birds. So
Hmm.
I know she enjoyed the warm weather
Yeah, I
aspect
bet.
of it.
What was the setting like as far as what you were hunting in, like the environment?
I know the one day we were in like like surrounded by cypress trees.
Mm.
We were shooting wood ducks that day, wood ducks and ringnecks. It was just cypress trees everywhere. Kind of weird. I've never been in anything like that. Kind of reminded me a lot of like swamp people.
Right, right.
um, but the second day we were just in this pond. It was just completely covered in lily pads everywhere. Like they all had mud motors or
Mm,
surface drives, and that's
mm,
pretty much the only way you can get anywhere out there.
mm. But you
Just
probably seen
it's
some
just a
alligators too,
typical.
huh?
Actually, I didn't see any when we were down there in Florida. I actually saw a bunch of alligators when I was in Texas for teal.
Hmm.
The one pond we hunted had probably 15 of them on there.
Oh, sheesh. That's
Yeah.
scary I'm sure guys almost don't even want to use dogs out there, huh? Just for
Well,
that.
there's some guys that do. That's why I didn't take my dog. because we're not from there, but like some of the guys that we met and we were just talking to them, they're like telling us how they have to like race the gators out to their birds when they drop them because they knew like that if you shot a bird, it would fall in the water and there was their meal. And you had to like chase them out there, and it was definitely nerve wracking shining your flashlight and seeing all those sets of eyes.
Oh man, I bet.
Dark.
Huh. So so you shot the black bellied tree ducks and some wood ducks, you said, and some ringers?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's it. And just being in those cypress trees, that's gotta really be a cool experience.
Yeah, I'll say it's just like you see in like swamp people or anything like it's just so cool. Like it doesn't.
Can't
It's
put it into
not.
words, huh? Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to see it in person really to
Huh.
know what's going on.
See, that's the kind of stuff. Those I want to go because as far as somebody that takes pictures too, I love just like that setting. I'd be loved to take pictures and like B-roll video of that kind of stuff because that's just so cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's
Not
awesome.
that I haven't experienced cool stuff out here. I'm just saying it's something different you haven't been in.
Oh no, you guys got some cool stuff out there. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. So then that was actually right before Christmas. We drove back. I think the night before Christmas Eve and got home Christmas Eve morning, and then Christmas Day I left and went to St. Paul.
Mm.
And that trip, oh man, it's a tiring one.
Mm.
Um, they talk a lot. Just getting to the island is half the battle, because they have those tiny planes and they only do it every couple days. So like just like the other trip, I flew into Anchorage, and from there I went through Raven, Alaska. They have like little 20 passenger planes you can fly to the island. Some people use charters because they don't get canceled as much. The Raven flights, there's a lot of delays and cancellations, so it's a little bit riskier. But I was lucky getting to the island. It was pretty easy, at least getting to the island. But I lost my luggage in Seattle, so that was not fun.
I bet. Did you fly with your own guns or did you?
Yeah.
You did.
No, I brought them. Yeah, so usually what I do when I go on a trip is I take one gun case and you pack as much as you can in there because you're allowed to have other stuff in there other than your guns and ammo. So I put as much stuff as I can in that, and then I have my other bag. But at least for Raven, Alaska, the guns are like must fly items. They won't get bumped till like the next flight. So that way you can make sure you have at least enough stuff to get you by till the next flight comes.
I gotcha.
But
so what outfit did you go with for the St. Paul trip?
So I went with King Eider Adventures. That's run by Jeremy Ullman. He like I mentioned before, he lives over in Michigan, kind of by Lake St. Clair. Yeah, no, he's an awesome guy. Like I said, I lost my luggage, my guns, my ammo, all that stuff, and he had plenty of that, to at least get me by until my stuff came. So I would have been screwed, obviously, with no gun or shotgun shells. So,
right.
Yeah, no, I had an amazing time. That's something I don't think can ever be replicated. It's, some people, like you can hunt from shore there, but being out on the Bering Sea in the boat and 10-foot waves, that's not something you'll ever, like I said, something you can't replicate.
No kidding. Did you get sick?
No. Luckily, I don't get seasick. So.
Oh, you lucky dog.
Yeah. No, my dad, he gets super, super seasick, so he can't really do much of that anymore. But I other than being like incredibly wet, I mean, being on the boat was fine.
Wow. I wish that didn't bother me. I've never taken nothing to not get sick though. The couple times that I've been out, so I don't know, maybe that would be, but it'd be worth it to get the experience. You just got to do it, suck it up.
Yeah. Well, I know my dad. He says Dramamine helps him a lot.
Did he go on that trip?
No,
okay.
No. I tried to get him to go, but he's not. He has no interest in going to Alaska.
Oh, really?
It's too cold, he says.
Uh,
He's getting up there in age. He's a little
yeah,
too old to be
yeah.
doing all that.
Who'd you say that
But
was with? What was the name of that?
Jeremy Ullman, King Eider Adventures.
Oh, King Iron Adventures. Okay.
Yeah,
Has
he hasn't been up there as long as the other ones, but man, he knows his stuff. I don't want to say anything bad, but like he compared to other guys, he made sure we were up there. He was helping us pick out the nice, or I guess really whatever bird he wants. So like I was after nice drake king eiders,
mm,
so he helped me pick out the nice drakes, not just some juveniles or hens, stuff like that.
yeah.
But and he's an awesome captain. He, like I said, you're in 10-foot waves at some point, and like I never really felt like scared. You know, it was like I just felt safe being out there. And
Right.
just awesome. I think I shot my first bird. The first one I shot was about 70 yards out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so you gotta. Sometimes you just gotta take what you're given, and that's what I was kind of talking about. Is it was a trophy hunt. You can't
Right.
just. Yeah,
So what?
I think.
Well, I'm curious what ammo you were using. Were you using steel, or did you use something a little heavier?
So he told me that he recommends using bismuth.
Bismuth, huh?
So we use Boss, like 3-5 duplex loads,
Mm-hmm.
and like there was a couple guys out there who didn't have Boss, and my birds were dropping stone cold dead. Like I said, at 70 yards, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that has to do with the shooting or the performance of the shells, but
Right.
I was having no problem knocking down birds out there.
Now, did you ever see? I'm not. I've hunted old squaw stuff on. I think it was Lake Michigan, and was it Lake Michigan, right next to Wisconsin? I think so.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
that's it.
anyways, those suckers are tough. Like,
Yeah,
even though they're not that big, but I mean they are like they're the size. In my opinion, they're like the size of like a widgeon or something, maybe. But
yeah,
I mean, they are swimmers. Like maybe if you made a bad shot on one, you would see it go under, and you wouldn't see it. You'd see it come out 200 yards away within a matter of seconds. It was actually, unless you see it for yourself, you would think I'm lying. Like I've never
yeah.
seen something swim so fast.
It's crazy. So there was actually when I was up there was a lot of old school out there,
Mm,
and I've shot them, but I've never shot any real nice drakes. So
mm-hmm.
um, those are tough ones to hit. I think that's probably the hardest bird for me to hit. But
Yeah.
I was able to. Out of state hunters are allowed 4 birds of each species. I
Mm-hmm.
think up to 20 birds per year.
Even the king eider?
So yeah,
Oh, I thought it was only 2.
no. So you're allowed 4.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Like
so
total. Like
yeah,
meaning
4 of each species.
4. Oh, 4 of each speed. No, wait. You're just saying you could shoot 4 for the whole year, right?
Yeah.
And so you could, and old squaw, same thing, 4 for the whole year.
Yeah. Same thing. You shoot 4 old squaw, 4 harlequin, 4 king eiders, whatever, up until 20 birds.
Oh, really? And now, what about like, and is that for the whole state of Alaska?
Yeah.
So what about like mallards and stuff?
Um.
Is that totally
Yeah.
different? Like you can shoot a full limit?
I think it's different. I only went up there for sea ducks,
Yeah.
so I didn't look too much into that. But I know like the Alaska residents, some of the guys I was hunting up there with, they could shoot up to 10 birds a day. So
Wow.
like if they wanted to, they could have shot 10 king eiders per day, and
For the whole season?
yeah.
Wow.
No, they're allowed 10 per day the whole season.
Holy smokes. Oh, you mean you're literally saying they could shoot 10 a day for the whole season every day?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Man, that's pretty, that's pretty liberal.
Well, you guys are allowed 8, aren't you?
No, we're 7. But that's not 7.
7.
Like we could do 7 mallards, but like we couldn't. If anything was semi, I guess rare, which I don't know. Are king eiders kind of considered rare? I mean,
Oh, yeah. So there's only really 2 places in the world that you can,
right?
what am I trying to say? Target them.
Right.
Like
I'm just
you
surprised
might
they would
see 'em-
allow that many take per day, which I'm sure no one's doing that. But
Yeah.
it
No,
just
usually the people that go on those trips are, they're more concerned for their trophy birds
yeah,
and not just there for numbers.
yeah. So how was it shooting your first one? Explain to us that moment on the first one you shot?
Well, yeah. So we were sitting out there, just so sunrise is about like 10:30. So we're sitting there and we're just going through and start seeing birds, but nothing's coming close. And we're just going through these waves, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, there's one." So I turn around, and right as I turn around, there's a big wave comes through and like knocks me over on my side. And as I'm falling, I shoot at it, and I just hit it, and it was like, it was about like 70 yards away, and there's just nothing. After that fell, I felt like such a sigh of relief because the whole trip up there, I was worried about going through all of this, and then how am I going to end up shooting? Like, am I going to? I was really scared I'd get up there and choke.
Right. Wow.
But yeah, no, it's a crazy feeling.
Well, I bet it's hard retrieving them too, because if you're getting 10-foot waves, and that thing's gonna disappear every time a wave lifts up, right? Like it's going. I mean, obviously they're super bright, so that probably helps a lot. But I remember we were only having like 4-foot waves when we did that Lake Michigan deal, and the bird would appear because it'd be at the top of the wave, and then it would disappear. Like it was just like, oh man, it's kind of
no, it's they definitely were disappearing like that. You have to keep an eye on it, and like I know the second time I shot at the Kings, I dropped two and one flyby. So I was like, you had to keep an eye on two separate places where they were at. And I actually have a video of us when we were retrieving them. It's just really cool to see them floating in the water.
oh man,
they're actually not as big as I thought they were going to be.
Oh really?
They're the ones that, at least the ones that I shot, were a little smaller than my dad's. Commoniders that he shot.
So. Okay, I was actually going to ask you that because when I went to Montana with Travis, to that guy Eugene that trained him, he was actually putting together a common. I was like, this thing is huge, man. And I was assuming King Eider was be about the same size, so they're a little smaller, huh?
Yeah, and I was very surprised. But then, so like I know common eiders, they're a little bit bigger, but then there's also a Pacific eider.
Yep.
I think they usually shoot them in like Cold Bay, and they're even bigger than that. And that's like really? The biggest duck. Like from what I hear, they're just giant.
Huh. Wow. Okay.
But yeah, no, it was really cool. Just I'll have to send you some pictures because
I love it.
Seeing them floating in the water as you're getting up there trying to grab them, the crazy waves, like it was just awesome.
Dude, you're getting me all pumped up, man. I gotta do that. I have to do that before they say you can't do it no more.
Yeah, no, I would highly recommend. Like that's a trip I think everyone, at least any hardcore waterfowl, should take.
Yeah, it's I literally can say it's been a dream since I was early teens. Like I've literally wanted to go. I just want to go to Alaska in general, just because it's so beautiful there. But
yeah,
to be able to go there for that hunt is just like a dream. I actually called the guy last year, and I don't remember which guy it was, and we were supposed to get something. He was supposed to send the paperwork, and he ended up never sending it. But I'm like, well, you know what? I'll just save, and then when one of those deals pops up where they're like, hey, we need to fill a spot, we'll give you a little bit of discount. I'm just gonna have to be ready,
Yeah, it's one of them things. Like I said, I did it last minute, probably like 3 weeks before the actual trip. You just got to be ready to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do.
But I would definitely highly recommend Jeremy.
Okay,
like so when I was up there, it was his fees including like lodging, food, all that stuff. That's what most of the guys up there do. But like he cooked some awesome food. You got to live in the house with him. Just kind of got to like hang out with. It's not just a business up there to him. Like he's up there, doing it, making sure giving people a trip of a lifetime. He's not just worried about money and pile picks.
Yeah, right. No, I'll be looking into that then for sure, because that sounds like the kind of person I want to go with. I've went with some guide things before, and I've had some bad experiences, and I was really disappointed. Just like you said, it was more just like flushing people through, and whatever. You got a business to run, and some people don't mind that, but I'm more looking for the whole experience in general.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told him. I'm like, man, I'm just after like an awesome experience. Maybe get some. The birds are a bonus, but just getting to hang. He's a really cool guy, and it was cool to be up there with him and his people. So
that's cool. Did you go anywhere after that? Did that wrap you up? That probably drained you dry.
Yeah. So Yeah, so I came home, and then probably 2 weeks later, we went to Maryland. We actually went and hunted with Jeff Coates for Pit Boss Waterfowl
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
over in Ocean City. Um, I know I told you before, but that he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Another one of those guys, like I said, not in it for the money. He's
Mm-hmm.
there giving you a great time. He pretty much has the birds over there down pat. Like if you don't shoot your birds, it's because of you, not him.
Right.
But yeah, so we went out on
What birds were you shooting down there?
black scoters and surf scoters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so that's cool. We were out on the Atlantic Ocean, so um, he actually has the world's largest duck boat. I don't know if you've ever seen that,
I
but
have, yeah, yeah. Not in person,
32
but I've seen
foot.
it on his Instagram.
Yeah, no, that thing is awesome.
That's cool. He seems like a really like fun guy to be around just because he's like super wound up. It seemed like and like likes to have a good time.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And it was really awesome because like he's building that new headquarters where he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna have lodging and all that, and he like had us come over, was showing us around while they're building it, just kind of showing us what he's got going on over there, and it was just really cool to see.
Does he lodge people where he's at now, or do you just stay in like a hotel or something and meet up with them?
Uh, Not right now. We stayed in an Airbnb in Ocean City.
Mm-hmm.
Um, January is kind of their off season, so there's a lot of places to stay.
Mm.
But that, at least what he had said before to us, is he's building that new headquarters, and it's going to have a place for lodging and food and all that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is really cool.
That is cool. That's awesome. Did that wrap your season up right there?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, dude,
Long.
I'm gonna call you Mark Peterson Jr.
Yeah, man. If I could get on that level, whew.
Yeah, you need a little bit of money for that, though. I think
Yeah,
I
no, that
was.
guy is insane.
Yeah, I watched that show. I was like, dude, that guy had racked some money because he went and shot his king eyers in Greenland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get
So
him on here. Talk about
yeah,
that.
you should. Yeah, I'm sure he has, because he also did a South America Grand Slam too. Um, I think that one is only like 18 birds, but there's some weird stuff in there.
Oh, I
I
bet.
know. I know he did that one too. It was really cool. Yeah, that guy. I actually talked to him on YouTube, like through like comments and stuff, and we're
Hmm.
talking about it. But he's really lucky to be able to do that.
No kidding. Yeah, that's really cool. And he was doing that during COVID, which really made things a lot tougher. He's really lucky he got into Greenland. From what the video I was watching of his said, how
Yeah,
they were basically not letting people come in from any other countries, and I don't know how they must have willed and dilled those guys or something.
yeah. I know he had to do like a quarantine for a while,
Hmm.
and yeah, it seemed like it was definitely tough. I know.
Yeah.
Um, we had a tough because they were still doing kind of COVID stuff when I was on St. Paul, because this year was the first year they opened it back up after COVID, um, which is kind of also why I wanted to go, because that means the birds haven't been shot at for a year or
Hmm.
two. But like yeah, when we went there, we had to submit the test and go get we had to submit a COVID test before we flew, and then once we got there, we had to submit one, and then it was just kind of a pain. But
They're probably not doing that now, huh?
probably not. I don't know. This was just last December. They were still doing it.
Oh,
So,
really? Yeah, that's true,
um,
huh? It was not that long ago. Huh.
yeah,
Yeah, they might do that for a little longer just because they're kind of out there by themselves. Don't want to keep it clean, I guess. But well,
yeah,
man, this has been great. What a trip! I mean, my goodness, what a year.
yeah. And next season's kind of looking about the same.
What do
So,
you got? What do you got in store? Just a quick overall,
um,
general.
so believe it or not, I'm actually going back to Texas for Teal's
Okay.
opener. Then we're going to our annual North Dakota. But then after that, right now, I currently have a trip set up to go to Florida for the Fulvis, like I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Maine. We're going to shoot hopefully the white wing scoters and commoniters, and then I'm also supposed to go down to Southern California, hopefully to try and shoot some cinnamons.
Oh, nice. Well, right on, man. Did you find a guy out there? I know there's a one guy I know of down there that
Oh, you got
who?
Breck Dickinson.
Yeah, I think that older guy.
He is
Yeah.
like the guy for cinnamons. Yeah, he's booked out till like 2027.
Huh. Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
because he's a guarantee. There's no,
yeah.
see, with shoot cinnamons, we'll go in waves, right? Like I think this is like the third year that we've shot quite a bit, but before that, it was real spotty where we hunted. I mean, there's certain places you could go, but it was not a guarantee. Where he's at is like it is a guarantee. So
yeah. So that's actually we're going somewhere kind of close there down. I think it's like El Centro or something.
yeah, that's like that's on the border, like literally.
I'm a little nervous because that's another trip I'm going by myself. So I'm making it.
Yeah, that border's sketchy down there. I worked actually down there for a little bit doing some crop dusting, and I was like, this is not where I want to be right now. I end up saying I was debating on taking that job, so I did a week long like tryout, and I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna go stay back a little farther away from the border. But yeah, I'd go down there to hunt for sure. Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah. I'll say I met another guy on Facebook who lives down there, and he's kind of told us, like, yeah, just come down and, we'll try and hook you up. So we'll see.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, whenever you come down here, text me. I mean, the only thing is you're a long ways from where I'm at down there, but if you want to drive or whatever, I don't know what your plans are, but you're more welcome to meet up with us and do something too. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
yeah. Think
really
you're probably about 8 hours from us.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a bit.
It's kind of funny when you think we're in the same state too, and that's not even halfway to the other border.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're ever over here and like close to us, let me know. We can try and set something up.
Yeah.
Arms and big water, marshes, whatever. I mean, I know.
Yeah, we've been getting the itch to go back to Wisconsin. That for our buddy that's there, he's been like dying for us to come back, and I really do, just because it's just beautiful. Like the northern, way up there in northern Wisconsin is just like, man, it's another world up there. And like you said, you were kind of saying this about Maryland. Like there's nobody there during duck season. Like all the tourists and everybody, and even locals that stay up there during the summer, are gone. It's like ghost town, but it's cool because like you feel like you have it to yourself, So
yeah,
maybe that was.
I know we had a hard time even finding places to eat dinner.
They're shutting everything down, huh?
Yeah, closed down at like 8.
But you were in Maryland, right? For that, or, I mean, you were in.
Yeah.
It was January, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so it's so harsh. There's just nothing. That's funny. That's cool though. It's different. Can't get the midnight munchies because you ain't gonna find nothing to eat.
Well, like we drove all night and we ended up getting there at like 9:30 at night, and like I said, everything closes at like 8. Mm-hmm. So we had to drive around for like an hour before we finally found a little Mexican restaurant that was open. So
that's cool. Well, I definitely want to somehow, because Jordan's in Indiana too, so it'd be kind of a cool. Those aren't that far apart. You can just kind of swing around there. It'd be kind of neat.
Yeah,
meet some more guys.
So. We may be the armpit of the country, but there's every once in a while we're getting to some ducks.
I don't think you're the armpit. I would say California is probably the armpit of the country.
I don't know.
At least the politicians are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm talking about duck hunting.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. We're not very many people are picking that as their spot to go. But anyways, all right, man. Well, thanks, Clay, for coming on. I really enjoyed talking to you. That was super insightful and interesting.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's hard to find people as dedicated as I am, or people who are as crazy as we are.
Yeah.
So I always enjoy getting to meet new people who share the same interests.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've been called crazy once or twice in my life for a waterfowl. So, all right. Yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Give it a rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And again, Clay, thank you for coming on. Guys, check him out, Turpin Clay 22 on Instagram. And it was a pleasure having you again, Clay.
Thank you.
Yep.
I really appreciate it.
We'll see you guys on the next one.